several weeks to bring an incredible session to you. First, I do want to say, again, thank you for joining us on our first ever virtual Denver Startup Week. If 2020 has taught us anything, it's that we're more powerful when we come together as a community to share ideas and help make each other better. And here at Denver Startup Week, we strive to make all of our sessions a space where attendees feel that they can connect, learn, and grow, regardless of gender identity, gender expression, race, ability, sexual orientation, and the combination of those identities. There's something for everyone here at Denver Startup Week. And again, thank you for joining us. So I'm going to go ahead and kick it off with a quick video, and then I'll actually be your moderator for today's panel as well. So hold on just a moment as I share my screen.
Why can't a lollipop be good for your teeth? That was the question 7-year-old Alina Morse asked when her parents told her the dangers of sweets. Now her own range of lollipops, a sugar-free treat that's said to clean your teeth, are on the shelves of the world's #1 retailer, Walmart. Alina, who is now 12, a whole 12, is here with me now. Alina, thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Zollipops is an all-natural, sugar-free lollipop that actually cleans your teeth.
Zollipops are all natural lollipops that reduce the risk of tooth decay. She's the youngest person to ever land the cover of Entrepreneur magazine.
This girl is absolutely amazing.
Our next guests were fed up and frustrated with Barrett that just didn't work.
The 2018 Black Enterprise Teen Entrepreneur of the Year, Gabby from Gabby Bose. She is the president and CEO of Gabby Bose. It's a game changer for the hair industry. For a 12-year-old, you got a lot going on in your plate now.
Persistence in telling me what her dream was pushed me into business. I may be young, but I've heard no. I've heard little nose, big nose, short nose, tall nose, all types of nose. No, but I want you to remember that no is just an abbreviation for next opportunity. See me from 7 years old, shy, timid, and for me to be able to go to this 11-year-old, look from the 7 to the 12-year-old and the years in between to see my confidence growing is pretty cool.
Her business is inspiring her classmates.
When she does share, I can see them thinking, well, I could do that too. That could be me.
Your dream may be hard to achieve. I know mine has been. If you want to be successful, you can't stop working hard.
Based on time, we'll end on the kid who has never heard a swear word before tonight.
No, but tell them, we go way back. This is not the first time we're meeting.
Yes. So my name is Jack Bonneau, and my question is for.
Tell them how I know you, Jack.
Thank you.
Wait, tell everybody how we know each other.
So I got on Shark Tank last November. For my business, Jack's Marketplaces and Stands.
Jack killed it. He made Kevin look really bad.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
One 9-year-old Boulder County boy, one lemonade stand was not enough.
So he started his own chain called Jack's Stands.
I believe that kids can be their own best role models.
This young man is becoming a business mogul.
Are you the youngest kid who's ever gotten any dough from Shark Tank?
Hi, my name is Jack Bonneau, and I'm 13 years old, and I'm the founder and CEO of Jack Stands and Marketplaces and Teen Hustl.
So you're a diaper dandy. We got a lot of great diaper dandies.
Hi, I'm Max. I am a Sports Illustrated reporter and a commentator. I've met some of the most interesting athletes in the world.
We were all introduced to a talented young kid during this year's NCAA men's basketball tournament. His name is Max Bonnstetter. He's 13 years old, and he surprised South Carolina coach Frank Martin with this insightful question. Take a look at it.
Max Bonnstetter, Sports Illustrated for Kids. Coach, congratulations on the win tonight. When you coach and teach your team defense, what's more important, technique or attitude?
First of all, a lot of respect to you. That's a heck of a question. I've been doing this a long time, and that's the first time anyone's ever asked me that. That's a heck of a question.
I love that, right? Where do you meet this guy? We thought it'd be fun to have Max come out and ask you a few questions. You up for that?
Oh, absolutely.
All right, let's go. For tonight's show, welcome to SI Kids reporter Max Bonnstetter, everybody.
Wow. Wow. Oh my goodness. So we could literally end the session there and people would have walked away with more inspiration than they could have ever dreamed of all 200 sessions here at Denver Startup Week. I'm excited to welcome our panelists here, and it's kind of perfect. I do want to say, unfortunately, Max had a conflict and is not here with us today, but Max, thank you so much for helping to put this together. So I get to moderate, and this is literally a dream come true, and I'll tell you real quickly, I started my first company at 13, but this was like 70 years ago, so nothing compared to what we have as far as our guests here today. My daughter has started her company, so I very much have a heart for young entrepreneurs, and I will say this too, Jack, I love, we're in the same city, so I'm very, very familiar with Jack. I've been following him, and I was in that room at Denver Startup Week when you wowed the crowd. And Gabby, I've been stalking you for probably like a good year now. I'm such a fan. And Alina, you too. I'm telling you, I love young entrepreneurs. And so when I heard y'all were presenting, I immediately got super excited. So thank you for being here. I am going to jump in with some questions. And Alina, I'm going to start with you. How did your company start? I mean, we heard a little bit in the video, but how did this all start? And you started, was it 7 years old? Or give us a little bit of background on that and your creation of the very first lollipop.
Sure. So my name is Alina Morris. I'm 15 years old, and my company is called Zolly Candy. It's all natural, sugar-free, allergen-free candy that actually cleans your teeth. And like you said, Olivia, I did start the company when I was 7 years old, and there's a funny story behind that. So when I was 7 years old, my dad took me on a trip to the bank, and if you guys have been to the bank before with kids, you know that the bank teller always offers you a lollipop. And my dad always told me, you shouldn't have candy because sugar is terrible for your teeth. So I asked him, well, why can't we make a healthy lollipop that's good for my teeth so I could have candy and it wouldn't be bad for me? Then after about 100 times of asking my dad, when are we going to make these lollipops? When are we going to make these lollipops? He finally said, Alina, if you want to make something happen, you have to write down a plan. So I wrote down a business plan in my idea binder, which was just a picture, but the thought was there. And then I started researching, and I researched if there was anything like this already on the market, ingredients. And during my research, I found that tooth decay is actually the single greatest epidemic facing kids in America today, according to the US Surgeon General. And that's higher than food allergy, asthma, food intolerance, and it's still growing. It's still a growing epidemic, yet tooth decay is actually preventable. So this really grabbed my attention. And I thought, why can't I make not only a healthy lollipop that my parents couldn't say no to, but something that could help all these kids that are struggling with tooth decay. So I worked with my dentist and my dental hygienist. I worked with a food scientist at our manufacturing facility. And after probably about a 2-year period, we finally created Zollipops. And after creating the first Zollipop and packaging it and getting it all ready, we went to Whole Foods markets in Southern California and pitched it to them, and they brought us into their stores. And from there, we've gotten onto Amazon.com, Kroger and Ralph's, Walmart, Target, CVS, Walgreens, and as well as internationally.
Oh my goodness. Wow, girl. Wow. So you talked a little bit about meeting with your suppliers and then also meeting with retailers. How does that work when you are attending meetings with the likes of CVS and Walmart, et cetera? How does that usually go? And are they surprised when you walk into these meetings that you're so young?
Definitely. So, walking into my first business meeting at age 9, I had been practicing my pitch all day long, the entire plane ride there. And when I got in there, I was, super nervous, but I was super excited and confident and ready to showcase this product that I've been working on for the last 2 years. And, really with anything any meeting that I've ever gone to, and I don't know these people, they give me the look. They look at my dad and they're like, it's not bring your daughter to work day. And that's always a look that I've gotten. But over the years, I've realized that you walk in, you tell them, this is my company. And then once I start talking and they realize I know what I'm talking about, they start to believe that a kid actually does run the company. But as for, big retailer meetings, they are super nerve-wracking. But having our annual line reviews with retailers like Walmart and Target and CVS and Walgreens, which we've recently been introduced or recently been taken into, it's just such a crazy, very nerve-wracking experience, but it's, always the best feeling when you get that deal.
That's great. That's awesome. So I'm actually going to jump around a little bit so we can hear from everyone and we'll come back to you, Alina. So I'm going to throw it over to Gabby. And Gabby, I'm going to have you just talk really briefly about how your company started. And then similar question, if you're walking into meetings with, these big retailers and other potential business partners, how does that go for you? What's the biggest kind of fear and how do you overcome that?
Yeah, so hello, I am Gabby Goodwin. I am 13 years old and I'm the CEO of Confidence and the inventor of Gabby Bows, the first and patented double-face, double-snap barrette. How they work is they have 2 faces. You can see the design both ways and have teeth and craters to trap the hair. So you wrap the hair around the center strip and then snap one in close and snap the other in close, and it doesn't come out. So no more lost bows. You'll never lose a bow, never again and never. So with our patented barrettes, our plant-based hair products, and other solutions, we are able to help remove the stress from the hairstyling process so that moms, dads, and girls can be able to cherish their precious time together doing hair. And how this all started was my mom would spend about 15-20 minutes doing my hair in the mornings. She would drop me off at school and then pick me up to find that half of my bows were gone and my hair was a complete mess. So after her spending lots of money, lots of time on these barrettes that did not stay in her daughter's hair, she went on Twitter to rant about how my bows did not stay in my hair. And after her and a lot of her other friends that were also moms of daughters that wore these barrettes were talking about how terrible these barrettes were and how they never stayed in their daughter's hair, our pastor jumped into the conversation and said, sounds like a market you need to break into. So my mom told me, and I was about 5, and I've always been an optimistic person, but definitely when you're younger, it's way bigger. So I was so passionate about this idea. I've always wanted to inspire people, and I saw this as a way to do that. And so I would nag my mom, just like Alina said before, I would nag my mom, hey mom, when are we gonna make these barrettes? Now we would be grocery shopping and I would be like, hey, mom, are my bows going to be sold in this store? Or my soul's going to be sold in Publix? So I was so excited to come up with the barrette, not just to, as I said, inspire people, but I also didn't want to get in trouble for losing my barrettes. And so 2 years later, after sitting at the kitchen table, figuring out why these barrettes did not stay in girls' hair, we launched the Gabby Bows in 2014 when I was 7. And we've now been in business for 6 years. The second question you asked was, how does meetings or potential business partners meetings go? For me, it's usually it will definitely the same reaction sometimes with Lena. Like people are like, "What is this 13-year-old doing here?" And so it definitely was bigger when I was little. Definitely the bigger question because people saw this shy girl. Now I was shy, and people don't really think that now. But I definitely was shy before, and this business has grown my confidence. But when I was shy and meeting different people, even networking at a gala or a vendor show, I took that as a big meeting because I was so nervous. And before, I would always look at the floor when talking to people. I like to say that the floor was my best friend. So there were meetings that were very nerve wracking, and people also say, "Hey, what are you doing here? Why are you here with your mother? I thought your mom was only going to be here." Anything like that. But then when I start talking, as Alina said, people are like, "Oh, okay. She actually started this business," and that goes with anything as well. And in the beginning, we were talking to people about how these barrettes could get out and how to actually start the business. They would be like, why is there a 6-year-old girl talking to me about this?" But it's like it's gonna be my business. It's my business. It's my invention. Um, but definitely, it is kind of hard to be a kid entrepreneur because sometimes people don't really take you as seriously.
That's awesome, Gabby. Thank you so much. And I will say this real quickly. If you have questions and I see them coming into the chat, as well as put them in the Q&A, we'll have some time at the end to answer questions. And I'll throw this out there to the panelists as we go along. If you can put your social channels into the chat so that people can start following you and hearing all the great things you're up to, that would be awesome. So real quickly, hats off to all three of you for nagging your parents. Thank you for doing that. And hats off to parents for listening to your kids. Thank you, thank you. So Gabby, you talked about one thing that we heard and you mentioned in your video was that you get a lot of no's, or you've gotten a lot of no's. It sounded like you eat up no's for breakfast, like just eat them up. So
Right.
tell us about some of the challenges that you face as you have not only launched your product, but tried to grow it and have been successful in growing it.
Yeah. So there are different uh, problems or obstacles that a lot of other business people, a lot of other entrepreneurs or people that run businesses take or uh, face, and whether you're a kid or whether you're an adult. For me, like I said before, people taking me seriously at first, uh, and it goes the same thing now. Rather than when I was 7, it's still the same thing when I'm 13. But there's people that didn't really take me seriously. But then when they listen, they're like, "Oh, okay, she actually knows what she's talking about." But the biggest thing for me in my business journey, as I said before, is confidence. And I was very shy growing up. I was very timid growing up. I didn't really want to talk to people that I didn't know. It's not like I was self-doubting myself or anything. If you know me, then you know I'm very outgoing to the people that I know and are close to. But especially when I was younger, I wouldn't really want to talk to you if I didn't know you. And that did not work as well when it comes to business. It doesn't work as well when it comes to business. And you have to talk to a lot of different people that you don't know to be able to have them buy your product. My first commercial that we shot, I was very nervous that I cried before the shoot. I was breaking down. My mom had to take over most of my lines because I was too scared to say them. I was gonna say probably most of the video, but my mom, as you can see in the video, said most of it. And I was also holding my necklace in the video, just shaking, and it was bad. But as I've been able to grow, as I've been able to speak, and do videos and go to different vendor shows, I've been able to grow my confidence, and it's definitely shown. As people that have known me since I was in first grade, and now that I'm in eighth grade, they're like, "Oh my gosh, you've changed so much. Your confidence is uh, blooming." So that was definitely the biggest challenge for me, and I've learned to overcome it.
Thank you, Gabby. Thank you so much. You've definitely overcome that. And y'all, I'm literally over here fan crushing right now on on these entrepreneurs. And I can tell you from experience that the bow struggle is real. So thank you for filling that need. I'm going to move over to Jack. And Jack, I'm going to have you talk about, you've got a couple things going on. So you've got a first business that you launched and another one. You're officially a serial entrepreneur. And the same question, what challenges have arose as you have launched these two businesses, and how do you overcome those challenges?
Sure. Well, my name is Jack Bonneau. I'm 14 years old, and I'm the founder and CEO of Jack Stands and Marketplaces, and the founder and chief evangelist of Teen Hustl. Um, I started Jack Stands when I was 8 years old. Alina and Gabby have me beat by 1 year, but I started when I was 8 years old, and this whole journey started because I wanted a Lego set, the Lego Star Wars Death Star. That cost $400, so I asked my dad if I could get it. He said I could, but I was going to have to find a way to pay for it. So I started my own lemonade stand at my local farmers market, and I had such a great experience. I got my Lego Death Star that I wanted to reach out to other kids and provide that same experience. So I moved to more farmers market locations and started teaching kids how to operate those stands. That's my first part of the first business, Jack Stands. After that, I created Jack's Marketplaces and started reaching out to other young entrepreneurs to sell their products at my stands, and continue to teach kids how to operate those stands at different malls and farmers markets. So that was my first business. And my second business, Teen Hustl, I started around my 13th birthday. So I wanted a business that would appeal more to teenagers rather than like 7 to 11-year-olds that I had been working with. When I was researching what I should create a business on, I found out that decades ago, millions of teenagers used to have their own business, which was paper routes or babysitting. But those opportunities don't exist for teens today. And I was also seeing the meteoric rise of all these food delivery companies. So I was just like, well, why don't I take the most tech savvy generation and plug them into the gig economy? And that's what Teen Hustl does. Teen Hustl is a hyper local delivery service delivering food from local restaurants, convenience items from grocery stores, and Amazon package delivery and returns from and to Amazon lockers, all on electric scooters and personal bikes delivered by local teens. All of this has not been without its certain troubles. The first big problem that I ran into was in Jack Stands. I had gotten a deal with a frozen custard and burger chain out here in Colorado, and Good Times frozen custard and burgers, and they wanted to sell my lemonade there. So I created a whole batch of it, like $50,000 worth. And when we got it into the stores, some of the customers complained that my natural lemonade was not, they didn't like it. It was too sour. Compared to the other lemonade that was not natural that they were selling. So they actually stopped selling my lemonade in total. So that was a big loss, but I kept pushing forward. I was able to get into several malls, and I was also able to get on Shark Tank, and I was the youngest male to get a deal on Shark Tank when I was 10 years old. So.
Wow, that's amazing. So those of you who are tuning in, you are looking at the future millionaire and billionaires of entrepreneurship right here. I'm gonna put it out here now, 2020. And then I'm excited to see how it all works out. So thank you, Jack. The next question I want to ask all of you, and we'll stay right here with Jack, is looking at mentorship. So we know as entrepreneurs, mentorship is key, regardless of age. It doesn't matter how old you are, what industry you're in. If you're trying to do business and grow and be successful without any mentorship, it's going to be really, really hard. So Jack, tell us about that. And, of course, who could ask for a better mentor than Mark Cuban? But tell us about your experiences with mentorship, and then any advice that you have for those that are listening.
Sure. So in the early days of my business, obviously my dad was the one who would help me and guide me through and taught me a lot of what I know about entrepreneurship. But now with Teen Hustl, I have several great advisors from the food industry, like Alex Cantor. He's the CEO and founder of Ordermark, which is a aggregation a business that aggregates all the delivery companies onto one tablet for each restaurant. And I have so many great advisors that are helping Teen Hustl, from the food industry, former and current CEOs. And it's very important to have mentorship, because you can't do it all by yourself, and it's important to have a good team around you. As far as advice for others, well, if you're a young entrepreneur and or you want to be a young entrepreneur and you have a business idea, what I would say is just do it. It's that simple. All you need to do is just put yourself out there. I mean, nothing would have ever happened if I just put my lemonade stand at the end of my street, but I put it at my local farmer's market. I started reaching out to kids. You just got to put yourself out there and reach out to people around you, like your parents, teachers, and if you have any mentors, to see how they can help you turn your dream into an actual business. You'll develop passion, you'll develop grit, and you'll succeed. And whether or not you succeed, that's not the point. You can succeed, you can fail, but it's just the fact that you tried. And if you do fail, you're just able to learn about what you did wrong, and you can just start off better. So
that's great. Thank you for that. So definitely failure it's all how you look at it. It's all relative.
100%. Yeah.
Perspective, definitely. I'm going to turn it over to Alina and ask the similar question regarding mentorship and mentors. How important are they to your business success? And then what advice would you have to those listening?
Well, mentorship is so key for a couple of different reasons. As a kid going into an adult world, as they call it, and starting a company and knowing that you're going to have to work with these, retailers, and you're going to have to work with people, even the people producing your product. You need those social skills, and a lot of that comes with age. So when you're young, it's so important to be around great people that have those skills, because as long as you're around them, you are picking up those skills. You're constantly learning. You're seeing how they behave in that situation, and then you take notes. And then, the next time you're in that situation and say you're alone, you know what to do. So surrounding yourself with those people that you can constantly learn from is so key. Also, mentorship really is so important for whatever industry that you're trying to get into. For example, in candy is an industry that's been around for hundreds of years, and the big players in candy have all been around since basically the beginning of time. And so, you don't see a lot of new guys or girls climbing the ladder as fast as we are. And a lot of that was due to one of my mentors here in Michigan. He's a fourth generation chocolatier, and his company has been passed down from generation to generation to generation. And so he grew up in the candy industry, and he has given me a lot of insight and a lot of help to navigate this industry, as well as lots of connections. And connections are so key. Even if it's, somebody you meet for 5 minutes at a trade show, you want to get their contact information. You want to grow your LinkedIn profile. And having a mentor that's been in your industry for a long time is a great way to do that, because their Rolodex is already full. And as for I guess, advice that I would give to other young entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs of any age is to keep asking questions and keep learning. Oftentimes when you grow up, you stop asking questions, you stop being curious because, you've gone to business school or, you have some business experience, but that does not mean you know everything. And that's something that I've learned, especially, not even going through middle school or high school when I started my company. I had no idea, all of these concepts that you would learn in business school. I had to figure them out in situations from context and from explanations from my dad or my mom or any member of our Zali team. So asking questions and continuing to want to learn and be the best version of yourself is so important at any age. And a little motto that I've been told my entire life is to work hard, try, believe, and never give up. It's short and sweet, and it's a great thing to tell yourself right before a big meeting or a speaking engagement like this. So work hard, try, believe, and never give up, and always ask questions.
That's perfect, Alina. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate that. There are some questions coming into the chat and into the Q&A. So thank you, attendees, for posting those questions. I am going to head over to Gabby, and I'm going to do one more question, then we're going to probably go into the Q&A in just a minute. But Gabby, and for Jack and Alina, think about this as well. What would you say is next for you? You all have such great success, and you've grown your businesses to a level and a place and an brand awareness that a lot of companies really strive for. So what can we look out for in the years to come, whether that's next year in 2021 or following after that?
Yeah, so what's next for Confidence? We have 2, maybe 3 new hair products coming out. We are working on them right now as we speak. So look out maybe December or maybe even early 2021. But that is one of the biggest things that we are excited for. And then also just growing our online brand, which has definitely grown during the pandemic. But keep growing that, and then also a lot of different speaking engagements, virtual speaking engagements as well.
Thank you. Jack, what is up for you? What's next?
So for Teen Hustle, my goal is to raise funding for Teen Hustle and expand to more locations within Colorado, and then we'll develop a suitable model that we can expand outside of Colorado nationwide. So just really getting the word out about Teen Hustle, raising funds, and expanding.
And Alina, what about you?
Well, for Zali Candy, we just released our new line of products. So our OG product, Zali Pops, are right here. We have them in 6 delicious flavors, and you can get these at Walmart, Target, CVS, Walgreens, Amazon.com, iHerb.com, Kroger, or Ralph's, or you could check zalicandy.com to find a retailer near you. But our new line of products, which includes our Zali Caramels, which have the same great benefits of Zali Candy, but they are delicious chocolate caramels, can be found in CVS, and we're super excited to have those released, as well as our new flavors, including blue raspberry, green apple, watermelon, and peach will be out very soon. And we have some very exciting projects coming in 2021. And, for us, we're a cause-based organization, and the Million Smiles Initiative is our nonprofit where we give free Zali candy to schools across America to teach kids about the importance of oral health care and entrepreneurship. And we've grown that from 100,000 smiles, so 100,000 lollipops given out each year, to 4 million smiles that we just released this year. So 4 million lollipops we have committed this year. And even though school is virtual in most places, we are still finding ways to get Zolly candy to kids all over America and keep them smiling.
Awesome. That's great. Man, I'm like, I need a nap after that. That's so much going on that y'all are doing. And Alina's like, you can find my product like anywhere all over the world, basically. Just go anywhere and it'll be there.
Yeah, and internationally too. So if you're traveling.
Internationally too. I have one quick question, and then we're going to go into Q&A. So I personally am a brand strategist. I've been doing branding for 20 years and specifically focus on personal branding. So knowing that you're the CEOs of your companies, you are, the strategist, you're playing all of these roles. You're also teenagers and students and things like that. How do you perceive your own personal brand? So, Jack, you've got your Teen Hustle, you've got the names of your companies, but Jack, Alina, and Gabby, you are the face of your companies. You are the brand. How do you feel about that? And how do you kind of balance the brand of your business and the brand of yourselves personally? Anyone can jump in on this.
I'll answer it first, I guess. Well, I mean, when I was nagging my parents,
Uh-oh, Gabby, we just lost your audio. I don't know why. Can you all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We just can't hear Gabby.
Okay, I can hear y'all now.
There you go.
Okay, there we go. Okay. Did you hear?
Uh-oh, we lost you again. It might be your internet cutting it out. Let's have someone else jump in, and then Gabby will come back to you.
I can go. With all of my businesses from a young age, it's been kind of difficult to find a good work and like personal life balance with school, friends, all of that. But that's what's really important when you're a young entrepreneur, is to find that good balance. As far as like my personal brand goes, throughout all of my businesses, my goal has just been to educate kids, give them the opportunities that I've had, and teach them about entrepreneurship, whether that be through them running my stands through Jack Stands and Marketplaces, or becoming a teen hustler and learning how a startup works, and becoming part of that core team and just getting some workplace experience.
And I would say for me, it's definitely similar to what Jack said. Finding that balance is so key. Especially, with things like high school football games, and I'm on my school's pom-pom dance team. And so I definitely have a lot going on, but I always find time to definitely look back and reflect and look at the bigger picture. And that's a lot of what business is for me, is making those important decisions, whether that is taking a business trip and going to a meeting with one of our largest retailers, or staying home and hanging out with my friends. So it's definitely all about looking at the bigger picture and seeing what makes the most sense and what would benefit you the most in the long run. And from day to day, just thinking about, what you can do to make the most of your time, and how you can, better grow yourself in that time that you have, because time is so precious, and there's not enough of it in one day. But from a personal branding perspective, I guess from the beginning of the company, I have definitely been, trying to grow not only the company's brand, but growing my personal brand as an advocate for women in business, for kids in business, and just for getting rid of the stereotype that business has to be serious and business has to be for adults, and business can't be fun, because on every business trip, on every, meeting, I always tell jokes. I always have fun. I mean, a couple of my business trips, I've gone like indoor skydiving. Business does not have to be serious. And that's something that I definitely advocate for. And that shows through on my, personal social platforms that I put down in the chat. So make sure to check them out, because we actually have a giveaway going on right now. So if you follow our brand page, Zolly Candy and Alina Star Morse, you can enter the giveaway. And yeah.
Can y'all hear me now? Am I good?
Yeah.
Okay,
yes.
Great. For my personal brand and my business brand, it's honestly not that different. I always want to help people out. I've always wanted to bring people what they need and give people what they need, whether that's advice, whether that's actual products. And for me, my business is definitely a big part of me, because one, I created this product that I now well, not now because I don't really wear barrettes, but definitely when I started, I didn't have to get in trouble. And I also could help other girls not get in trouble and also feel pretty with their hair and with barrettes in their hair. And now, definitely with our hair products, we really want to target the the message that you can love your hair no matter what it looks like. And for me, as an African American girl, as the all natural girl, I don't wear weave. Not saying that weave is bad. I love weave. Weave is beautiful, but I don't wear fake hair, or I don't really do edges like that, or where I swoop, and I don't really do all that. But with our products, well, with the stereotypes that's going around right now, not just in the U.S. but all over the country, all over the world, where Black girls are wearing their afros and they're getting kicked out of jobs and they're losing their support system because it's unprofessional, or box braids are ghetto or ratchet, and then other races and ethnicities use our hairstyles that we use in slavery. Cornrows were used for holding hair or holding food and grains and girls' hair to be able to eat on the field. And when other races and ethnicities use our hairstyles, they get praised for it. And me and the African American community are just sitting back like, what happened to our praise? What happened to how we used to be beautiful in our natural hair? And even on our products, we say that rocking your hair is an important part of your confidence. So we are definitely big advocates for loving your natural hair the way it is. My mom changed from being from her hair being chemically processed for at least 20 years to being natural for the past maybe 6 or 7 years now, and she just wears her hair out. And that definitely showed on me because, well, it influenced me, because when I was little, I would always straighten my hair. I always ask my mom to straighten my hair because that's what hers looked like. And I thought that my hair wasn't enough because she didn't like her hair the way it was. But now, since we've been able to learn together how to care for our natural hair, we want other girls and we want other moms to do that, especially in this generation, because a lot of moms that have little girls that they grew up wearing chemically processed hair just like my mom did, and they don't know how to care for their own natural hair. So my personal brand and my business brand isn't quite different. And when it comes to friends and social stuff, when it comes to school, I help my friends with whatever they need. I'm always talking to them. We're always going back and forth, joking around. We are in middle school, so I mean, it's not any different. But sometimes my friends are on our website wearing our products. Sometimes I bring them to vendor shows to show them what entrepreneurship is like. My friends joke about it all the time in a nice way. And they're always like, "Hey, it's the rich girl," when we're walking around in school, or "Hey, can I get a couple dollars?" So it's a lot of it's fun for me to be able to show my friends that just because I have a business and I have a lot of things that I've done, that doesn't mean that I have to put aside all the people that have actually been there since day one. All my friends now, I started when I was in first grade. I have a friend and he thinks he started the business with me because he was knocking my barrettes out. He was there since the beginning, and a lot of my friends have. So just to see them and to bring them into my life and for them to bring me into their life, it's just a great experience. So I just really want to help everybody and help people find their courage and their confidence.
Gabby, that was a word. Y'all, she dropped a word on me. Preach, preach, Gabby, preach. I appreciate that because I have two daughters that I'm raising, and that's very top of mind and in the forefront for me of being an example for them. So I got, this is so much hair challenge, hair struggle stuff, but my mom started straightening my hair when I was 7, and that's all I knew because it was easier. My hair was too nappy and it was not good hair and all this stuff. So this is my 1 year. It's been my 1 year natural anniversary since I cut all my hair off and decided not to straighten it anymore, but definitely want to be an example for my girls. So thank you for that. Totally appreciate it. We're going to go into our Q&A. We have 10 minutes left, and there are a couple questions from the audience. And the first question I want to bring up, some of these we've already answered, so I'm kind of skimming them. But the first question is, do you all know of any associations that support or help young entrepreneurs with regard to funding, patenting, FDA approvals, etc.? Are there any resources that you all know of top of mind and that can share?
Yes. So there are a lot of great resources for young entrepreneurs to use, and one of the resources I used was in Young American Center in Denver. They're a great organization. I actually got my first loan from there. So a great place to go. They'll offer you with a bunch of different advice and possible funding. Also, Junior Achievement is one that has also helped. So Junior Achievement and Young Entrepreneurs, or Young American Center.
Great. Young Americans is amazing. As Jack said, they're here locally, so quick shout out to them. It's a bank for kids. You have to be under 18, and then they have a lot of education programs on starting a business. And as Jack said, loans as well. My kids have accounts there, so thank you to Young Americans. And they're also a Denver Startup Week partner, so appreciate you. Does anyone else have any resources that they want to share? Anyone else? All right, we're going to jump to the next question, and that is, how did you all get your first big meeting or your first mentor that's outside of your parents or your family?
Stalking. So, you know, it's all about LinkedIn. It's all about social media, and it's so easy to find these buyers and stalk them down and email them until they email you back. You know, it's a great way to build a relationship when they have no other choice but to answer your email or your phone call after you spam them for months. So, you know, it's not always the most fun or the easiest way to start off a relationship with a big corporation, but oftentimes it will lead to you having a call or a meeting with these big retailers. Also open call. So for me, we got into Walmart stores from the US open call. I don't want to say audition because that's not what it is, but yeah, it's the US open call meetings, and that's how we got into Walmart for the first time. So that was a really, really great resource for US companies. And also places like trade shows or ECRMs, which are sales conferences. And I've been attending trade shows like Expo West and Sweets and Snacks in Chicago since I was 9 years old. And so, you get to know not only the buyers that go through that walk through the shows, but you get to know other vendors that, either have the booth next to you or, you get to know them. And so it's a pretty cool community to be a part of. And it's a great way to meet people and get big retailers, get their buyers' contact information through those shows.
Great, thank you. So stalking, that's like the big thing. And I always say that unless when there's no response, that doesn't mean no. So if there's no response, it doesn't mean no.
No response means send another email.
Yes, call again. All right. Any other advice or any other resources that you all have to offer up? Otherwise, I'll go to my next question. So the next question we have is.
Can I add on that previous question? Yeah. So the first mentor that I got was Reggie Rivers, actually, the former Bronco. And I actually met him through Young Americans Bank. I won in the Young Entrepreneur of the Year in my age group. And one of the things that came along with winning that was a mentorship session with Reggie Rivers. And we continued that relationship all along. And also when I was young, I was invited to have my lemonade stand down at Techstars in Denver. And that led to me having great advisors that I have today, like Alex Cantor and also Nicole Glaros, who's involved in Techstars. But if you want to get mentors like these and make these connections, just go to every place you can, meet with as many people as you can, connect with as many people as you can, because you just never know where it's going to lead.
Thank you for that. That's great. We have a lot of really good questions in here in the chat and in the Q&A. I'm going to try to squeeze in 2 more. If for some reason we don't get to your question, we have the social channels in the chat that you can follow all of these amazing entrepreneurs, get to know their brands, and you can do some follow-up there as well.
So always, if you have any questions, you can shoot them in Instagram comments or Instagram DMs.
Perfect. Thank you. So this next question, and I'm curious about this one too, and because we have a lot of adults and a lot of parents watching us today, what advice do you have specifically for parents in instilling entrepreneurship or spirit of entrepreneurship in their kids? And also, if their kids want to start a business or starting a business, what advice do you have for those parents?
Well, I was really lucky to have parents that definitely fostered my entrepreneurial spirit from a young age, and always taught me, I could do anything. It didn't matter if I was 10 or, 100. They showed me that I could do anything if I put my mind to it and I put the work in. And so I think as a parent, I'm sure my parents could answer this question better, but I think teaching your kids from a young age that they can do anything. It doesn't matter if they're young, if they're a girl, if they're a boy, doesn't matter who they are, but they can do anything. And also, making sure to be that person that they feel comfortable going to ask questions. Because asking questions, like I said several times before, is so important. And to be taught that it's okay to ask questions and it's okay to not know all the answers. And it's a good thing to want to keep learning is a really important lesson to instill in kids at a young age.
For me, well, I guess my family as well, that's what my mom would say or my dad would say. Make sure that your children are actually really invested in this. Make sure that they really want this. And an example that we always give is, I am mostly the goal-driven person. I know what I want and I go get it. But on the other hand, my brother is a very all over the place person. One time he wants to make medals. One time he wants to play in the NFL. Another day he wants to make beats and be a DJ. Another day he wants to beatbox. Another day he wants to make books and draw. It's so many things. And make sure that if you are going to invest, if you are going to put all of your time, whether that's time or money, into this business, into this idea, make sure that they are ready for this and that they are really set on this idea. And then another one is to make sure, or don't be afraid to let your children face rejection. And my parents are very big on that. I mean, I know all parents don't want to see their babies mad or sad because they lost this certain competition or they didn't get this investment, or if it goes with anything, whether you're playing the violin and you did not make it into an orchestra or anything. But let them go through that because they'll be more resilient in the end. And as I said before, I've heard a lot of no's, but since my parents have been able to push me into those, I've been able to realize that no is just a way of life and you have to go through them to be successful.
Yeah, and to add on to that, with parents, when you're trying to instill that entrepreneurship, like what my dad did when I wanted something, he was just like, okay, this is how much it costs. Now, how are you going to make that money? But obviously, I couldn't do it all on my own. But if you want to start that from an early age, then just try and foster that entrepreneurial spirit because like my dad and I believe it's a life, entrepreneurship is a life skill. Whether you become an entrepreneur or not, just problem solving, being able to face rejection, stuff like that. It's very important to teach to your kids, and just fostering kind of like independence and just, oh, I can do this. It's not only for adults or for my parents. That's important.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. This was so good. This was really, really good, very enriching. You all had amazing insights on the journeys that you've gone through, great advice for both young entrepreneurs and parents of young entrepreneurs. And we cannot wait to see where the future takes all of you and your businesses. Thank you again for everyone who has tuned in to this session at Denver Startup Week. Thanks for joining us virtually this morning. Thank you again for placing questions in the chat. Like I said, follow up with the panelists, and then look out for the rest of the day and see what other sessions that there are that you want to attend. We have some amazing things coming up today and then into the rest of the week. Thanks again, and we'll all talk soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.